Hello, happiness abounders, and welcome back. Today I'm continuing our discussion all about social self-care by diving into the opportunities we have, especially in this day and age, to join groups and get our social self-care in a variety of ways. So back in the day, pre-internet, it was you had to call somebody to have a long phone call and get to know them and have a conversation. You had to write letters. You had to set up times and appointments so that you could get together and meet. Today, social self-care is way more easier. You can have social self-care by having a quick chat or email or text conversation with somebody. You can join a lot of groups and get notifications for meetups and things of that nature. Join groups on Facebook to connect with like-minded individuals, and all of that can happen without really leaving your house. So I want to talk about the differences in social self-care for today and some of the pitfalls and things to watch out for. So while it is all the easier in this day and age to connect with other people, we have taken that connection and moved it almost entirely online. We've also taken that connection and moved it almost entirely digital virtual, right? You and I right now are having a connection, but it's more one way because you are listening and or watching, and I am speaking to you, but I don't get to see you. How many times have we had conference calls and things like that that really are that exact same way, where you can see someone but they can't see you, so that connection is a little distant? Or you've been on conference calls where you're both on video and things are great, but when you meet in person, it's a totally different vibe, and it's a completely different atmosphere when you're meeting one-on-one. Now, these are things to consider because while it is easier to connect with individuals, like I said, via conference calls, in Facebook Messenger, Instagram DMs, or on text messaging on your phone, or whatever it may be, the ability for us to connect with other people is so much easier than it ever has been before. It's so much easier to find a group of people who like rock climbing like you do. But do you actually go and join the group when they say they're going to go rock climbing? Or is it just a group of people that you kind of see, you connect with kind of, and then you move on to the next group that you connect with kind of? I really want to challenge this idea that social self-care does not mean so many connections and so many things to manage that you never actually connect in person, or you never actually go out and do something about that connection. Because social self-care is about connection, but it's about deep connections. It is better to have 5 friends than 500 friends. And I think that might challenge things a little bit when we are, quite frankly, judged in the number of followers we have on Instagram or on Facebook or whatever social media site it is. And so it's like we have to connect with so many people, when in reality, if we had just 5 solid relationships, 5 relationships where you go out to lunch with somebody and get to chat with them in person, that can make all the difference in your social self-care. That can make all the difference in the ability to say no and say yes to things, which was the second episode for this week. So while I've spoken about being organized and being able to say no and having these expectations and this full organization and calendaring system for being able to go out, I realize that saying that we should be part of groups and connect and should be going out, to me, feels natural. But that's only because I've had to push myself to that point. So I want to talk today about our digital world, and if that is true connections and true social self-care. Now, this may challenge you. You may be triggered right now and you may not agree. But I want you just to at least consider it. Are you having true, deep connections with individuals? Because again, if you could have just 5 people that you have that with, just 5 people that you connect with, that you set up times and you're organized and you understand their expectations and you have those deep social relationships, that can greatly improve your happiness. But if it's like 500 and it's all online and you never really meet that person, you kind of know them, you kind of don't, even if you've spoken extensively online, until you are able to meet at least on a video phone chat, and even better if it's possible to be in person, that relationship is not as deep and as connected as it possibly could be. Now, I'm not saying not to have friends online and to not connect with people, but I'm saying see what you can do to take things to those next levels of deepness and getting to really know individuals, getting to really understand them, getting to meet them face to face and shake their hand. I think this is very, very important for social self-care. So with that said, that's all I've got for today, right? Being a part of groups, but actually engaging in those groups is everything. Actually, there's a Harvard study done over 75 years. I'm sure you've heard of it, but there's a Harvard study done over 75 years where they interviewed individuals and tracked their happiness. And over this time frame, wars have happened. I mean, all sorts of things. And the individuals that were happiest were those that had the deepest and most connected social relationships. Which is why being a part of groups and having those deep connections, really having a group of people that you can meet with and have those connections, those alignments, those deep conversations with, can make all the difference in your happiness long term. And scientific studies have proven it, which is kind of cool. So like I said, I'm going to leave you with that here today, as this is a key part of happiness, a key part of social self-care. Now, if you do not have people in your life that you can have those deep connections with, those one-on-one conversations with, I want to encourage you to try joining those groups, try reaching out and having those deeper connections and see how it goes. Because I think sometimes even just trying is enough of social self-care to improve our happiness, to get to know new people. So that said, have a wonderful day. Take a look at your connections, see if you have those top 5 or if it's 500, and see what you can do to make those connections deeper and join those groups deeper to have better social self-care. Have a wonderful day, and remember, you are capable of happiness abound.